JT the Brick. He's the only nationally syndicated sports talk radio show host also employed by an NFL team. But exactly who is this Raider Nation rep?
My real name is John Tournour, but I've been known as JT the Brick ever since I won the Jim Rome Smack-Off on the radio in 1995.
As the inaugural Smack-Off champ, JT made a difficult decision to leave his lucrative job as a stockbroker and start at the bottom in radio. But his gift of gab transcended the career move.
It was communicating over the phone. All those years of cold calling people to open up accounts as a stockbroker really is what saved me on the radio, because I wanted to interact with listeners. I was taking phone calls, and on top of that, I was communicating with opinions. I always had an opinion on a stock or a particular bond or what the market was doing. When I got into radio, I knew the one thing I had going for me is I always had opinions on anything that was happening in sports.
This is do or die time in the NFL. Winner move forward, loser go home.
I never wanted to be a journalist. I don't consider myself a journalist. I'm just a fan behind the microphone, and I want to bring that connection from the fans who aren't able to go to the Super Bowl. They're not able to be on the sideline of a Raider game. They're not able to go to the Final Four and tell those stories.
Sports fans flocked to JT's passionate delivery over the airwaves, and in 1998, the Bay Area's sports leader, KNBR, jumped on board, hiring JT to host the Raiders pregame show.
Wow, I got right thrown into the Raider culture. George Atkinson, Artie Gigantino, the great David Humm. So I'm hosting the pregame show outside the Coliseum as 60,000 fans are walking by, and the Raiders are on a roll in the late 90s playing some great football, and it changed my life.
JT's career path was on warp speed, quickly impressing the Oakland brass, who began using him on television in a variety of roles. But his biggest test lay outside the Raider facility walls.
The group I had to win over the most were the Raider fans. They were going to give me one shot. If I was fake, they would have sought me out and said, "You're a phony." So I went right into the black hole. Initially, it was tough. I was torn. Do I come here and tell people I'm a Raider fan? And I've always learned, tell the truth. Tell the truth in life, and then win over the fans that way. And to this day, interacting with the Raiders and treating the fans with respect. The fans understood that they needed someone on the radio. Greg Papa is the voice of the Raiders. I wanted to be the voice of the Raider fans.
The Brick became the first member of the Black Hole Hall of Fame and gave the Raider Nation a voice it was long overdue.
Raider fans were getting treated poorly on syndicated shows and local shows. They didn't have a voice. And I went up to the leaders of the Raider Nation, their best fans, and said, "Look, I'm an outsider. This is a job. I'm coming here to work. But I'll lock in and I'll tell your story." And I put Raider fans on the radio.
But when JT's face was added to his voice as the Raider fan base representative, he suddenly had to handle the task of keeping it real while keeping it corporate.
The Raiders have been great. I have to critique them when they're not playing well, because I work for Fox Sports Radio, and I have to tell my listeners nationally what's happening. And when the Raiders are losing, believe me, the national fans know where to find me. I'm behind the microphone. I always show up, and I take it. But when the Raiders are winning, sometimes the show could be taken over by Raider fans, because Raider fans feel comfortable calling in. I'm dealing with Pittsburgh Steelers fans, New England fans, Cleveland Brown fans, Seahawk fans. All of them have passionate fan bases. But when the Raiders are winning or losing, they're still arguably more passionate than any other fan base out there. So there's been some rocky times here when it comes to wins and losses, but I'm able to handle it. It's just a radio show. I don't treat it like it's life and death. If the fans want to come after me because they want to come after the Raiders, I'm honored to take the blow for them on the radio. But when they're winning, it's nice to look at the phone lines when I'm on the air, seeing 3 or 4 Raider fans on hold ready to give it back to the rest of the country.
Coming up,
I'm just blessed that Mr. Davis gave me this opportunity, because he let me develop on the air. I had no idea how to run a post-game show, but he knew I would connect with the fans. And then after this, working for Amy Trask and all the leaders of the organization, they let me grow as a broadcaster, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't get that opportunity back in '98. It was the biggest break of my career.
For 13 seasons, JT the Brick has been a name, face, and voice with the Oakland Raiders. He also hosts a nationally syndicated sports talk radio show on Fox and somehow finds the time to be a family man.
Yeah, I've been married for 12 years to my wife, Julie, and I have 2 sons, John and Jason. They're 10 and 8. They're my life. I live in Las Vegas. And when I'm back there, I coach Little League, I coach basketball. I'm a dad, and that's what I love.
A beautiful family and an understanding one. JT's schedule is grueling. Each night, he gets behind the mic to discuss topical sports stories with fired-up fanatics. Then he commutes on game days and up to Oakland for the Raiders Report. He also MCs a variety of events for the Silver and Black. Sleep deprived? Yes. The experience? Better than sleep.
So to have the ability to go to training camp, go in the locker room before the game, travel with the team on the plane, that is an opportunity of a lifetime. When I'm able to get off of a road trip and tell my listeners what that experience was like, that was really important to me. So I wouldn't have the radio show, I think, that I have today if I didn't have what I have with the Raiders, because the Raiders give me the opportunity to be a little bit more unique than the typical radio host that's reading the newspaper or watching highlights. When I get to travel with the team, I get to see how the NFL works.
With so much time on the road, JT makes the most of his time at home, soaking up every minute with his family.
There's nothing more important to me than being a husband and a father to my 2 boys and locking them into sports and showing them what it's like to travel and have a good time and be great fans.
His long tenure with the Raiders and on sports talk radio has made JT the Brick a mentor for aspiring sports personalities. His advice for longevity in the biz?
First, you got to be passionate about what you're doing. And second, you have to have tremendous energy, because that's the key. Long hours, I work late night on the radio, I travel a lot. So I have to remember, whenever I'm on the air, I have to be at my best.
You can go anywhere around the world, and everybody knows the term commitment to excellence. Everybody knows what silver and black means, and everybody can instantly recognize the shield.
And when he's at home, JT has to remember to be John.
My wife knows when I talk too much, and she'll kick me under the table or tell me to tone it down a bit. But again, I've been really lucky to have a great wife who understands what life's all about on the radio, and I'm smart enough to turn it off when I get home, and I don't want to be around JT the Brick 24 hours a day. Just a few hours is good.